Welcome back to Divorced Dads of America, The Rebuild. I'm your host, Anthony Thompson, founder of Divorced Dads. I'm going to get into something that I watched a little bit, the Odyssey. And I want to tell you about a warrior who had everything, won the war, proved himself on the battlefield, and then spent years, which is crazy, lost years trying to get back home. Not because he wasn't strong enough, not because he didn't know the way, because he kept getting distracted. He ate the lotus flower, felt bliss. He stayed on islands that felt good. He chased things that numbed the pain of not being where he was supposed to be. And every single day he wasn't home, his son was growing up without him. His kingdom was being taken. His life was moving forward without a minute. And that man was Odysseus. And fellas, that man is you. That man was me. And today I want to walk you through the journey that you're already on, because you're not lost. You're not broken. You're in the middle of the greatest hero's journey of your life. And I want to tell you what gets you home. As I sat and watched this film, The Odyssey, several times, each time different things were popping and nudging me. I would leave the theater. I would think, I would contemplate, I would reflect, I would review, and then I watched it again and I would do the same. And I just couldn't shake it. And I had to look at these things, and they just kept layering on what I hear from dads every single day, my own personal story, what I had to go through in my hero's journey. And I believe that it's sometimes so helpful to be able to unpack a film with you. And if you've seen it or you haven't seen it, it doesn't matter. Most of us understand Homer's book that he wrote thousands of years ago, and it applies today. It applies right now. So I ask you, just take a second, take a step back, hold on to your horses of everything you know, everything you don't know. And I'm going to throw some shots your way today that are going to, I believe, disrupt the pattern of what you're thinking. Most importantly, this isn't just for consumption. It's for action, for doing, for getting accountable to it, for building the plan, for saying, hey, it's time to wake up. It's time to do something you've never done, to get something that you've never had. Before we go any further, follow the show right now on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. 2 episodes a week, built for dads who are done eating the lotus flower, ready to find their way home. It's you. Every time you hit that button, the algorithm finds another dad who is stuck on an island right now, thinking this is as good as it gets. A couple of clicks gives that dad help and hope. Hit follow. Let's keep building. Here's the Odyssey. Here is your story. This book was written thousands of years ago, and it's still being told. It's a great book. It's an incredible book. And one of the reasons why I love this film so much is because my favorite director, Christopher Nolan, a lot of his films, I love them. I love what he does. And so I was intrigued. I had no idea what was going to be happening in this film. Most of you know, in this Odyssey movie, Odysseus, the character, he wins the Trojan War. He's a proven warrior, a king, a father. And yet the journey takes him years to get back home. Not because he was weak, because the journey home, guys, listen, it's never straight. It's never easy. And the man who arrives is never the same man who left. That is what we're in. That was some of the things that I started to really, they really vibrated for me. I watched this. I said, this is real. This is happening. This is what dads are happening. This is what happened to me. It's all of these adventures, all of this journey. And we watch it on film. We're like, oh, wow, this is great. But in our own personal lives, we're like, dear God, get me out of this as fast as possible. So the structure of your divorce sort of maybe sounds like this. You went to war, the marriage, the fight, the disillusion. You won something by surviving it. And now you're trying to get home. Not to your old house, not to the life that you had, to yourself, to your kids, to the man you were always supposed to become. Psychologist Joseph Campbell, you've heard of many of his things, most known for, he spent his life studying mythology across every culture in human history, identified what he called the hero's journey. That's his landmark work. The hero with 1,000 faces, he says. His research confirmed that across every civilization, every era, every culture, the story of the man who leaves, suffers, transforms, and returns is the foundational human story. It's not a metaphor. This is a map. You're in it right now, whether you choose it or not. The question isn't whether you're on the journey. You are. You're in it. You're in it, guys. I mean, this is it. The question is whether you're going to keep eating the lotus flower or whether you're going to start moving toward home. We'll start with the lotus flower because I found this to be so impactful and resonated with me a lot because of obviously the stories, obviously my own story. So there's a moment Odysseus and his men, they land on an island of lotus eaters and they offer them this flower to eat. And whoever eats it falls into a state of bliss, which is what was so intriguing to me. No pain, no urgency, and no memory of home. They just want to stay on the island forever. Odysseus has to physically drag his men back to the ships because the lotus feels so good. It felt like relief. It felt like the pain was gone. Guys, this is what I talk about with PAWS: porn, alcohol, weed, and scrolling. Every one of those is a lotus flower. Every one of them offers you bliss without the work of getting home. And every day you spend on that island eating the lotus or feeling the numbness is a day your kids grow up without the version of their dad they were supposed to have. For me, alcohol played a part. Weed gummies played a part. Finding the bliss in external things to avoid the pain and the problems I was facing. And let's be honest, we do that because our minds are racing so fast and so many ideas. Most high performers, they go into the future. The future gives you anxiety. Some of you guys may go to the past, and that past brings you depression. It's the current state is the gold. It is the present, and it's something that we avoid the most. And so when you numb out, you're avoiding the pain. You're avoiding actually being able to organize your mind and organize your thoughts into the places where they should go instead of not go. Most dads don't want to do that. They want to just, I just want to bliss out. I just want to eat the lotus flower. I just want to, have some drinks, or I just want to scroll, or I just want to check this porn out because it makes me feel good, or I get a dopamine hit. It's mental loss. It's financial loss when you do these things. It's a moment with your kids that you lose. These are things that I will never get back. You will never get back. There were leadership moments that were supposed to build something, and they were evaporated because I was on this island, because I wanted to be selfish and bliss out, and I didn't want to face the reality. You got to listen to this data about your brain and the neuroscience of it. This is very powerful stuff, and it will help you understand why you do it and why you want to keep doing it. So Judith Grisel, one of the world's leading addictive researchers, found in her research published Never Enough that every substance that produces bliss does so by hijacking the brain's natural reward system and reducing its baseline capacity for pleasure over time. So every time you eat the lotus flower, every time you numb out in whatever way that is for you, your brain becomes less capable of feeling good without it. The bliss gets shorter, the island gets smaller, and home seems further away. You want to keep doing it. It gives you that hit. It gives you that hit. It gives you that hit. Fear of failure for me was underneath all of it. Not the failure itself, the failure in front of people. We call this public humiliation. It's of being for me, it was being a high-level executive who lost everything. And for me, the fear of the future, the fear of the unknown, and the fear of being able to build this again. How could I ever come back? How could this happen? And the anxiety and the worry and the fear. And many of you, that is the public humiliation. You think it's public, that you don't have anything, and all the things that are being said about you. And so what do? You bliss out, you numb out, you go dark. The lotus made that fear quiet for a while, but it never made it go away. And it never moved you 1 inch closer to the destination, to home, to you, to becoming the man that you're called and created to be. So let me ask you this. What is your lotus flower right now? And how many years has it already cost you? How many times have you missed those moments? What is it really holding you back from? And it's really hard to put that in when you're in the moment. I know for me, it was hard to even, what's the cost of this? Well, you don't know the cost because you don't know the growth that you'll have when you stop. When I had somebody get into my life and uncover those blind spots and shoot me straight and hit me hard, there were so many doors that I was not walking through because I was living in this blissful state of not doing things I needed to do, of hiding things, of leaving them in the dark. And that is the call to you today. That is one of the biggest things that I could give you today in this portion. And in this film, of what it looks like for you. And be honest with yourself, man. Be honest. You've got one shot at life to do this right. This is the moment of clarity. This is maybe the nudge. Maybe there's somebody listening now, and I'm talking to somebody here that you needed a nudge today. You needed somebody to call you out. May this be that call. May this be something where you say, I'm going to step up. I'm going to get into the school community and start building with dads. I'm going to expose this. Maybe some of you are high-level executives and you have a business and it's, it's costing you. It's costing you in all these areas and you need help. Well, apply. Let's try and work together on that. Before we go, let me give you another scene in this film that I believe was one of the most powerful scenes. It really, really captured so much of this hero's journey, so much of Odysseus, so much of this warrior that he is, so much of this just alpha stud guy. So the one that struck me the most, the one that really gets me, and when I talk with guys, this is the one that I believe is really the secret to them transforming. There's a moment in Odyssey that when I'm talking to people that they don't really get, they haven't really hit yet. When Odysseus finally arrives back to his home after years, he doesn't walk in as a king. He doesn't announce himself, and he does not demand what is his. He comes in disguise, comes as a beggar, humble, unrecognized, small, and in that disguise, he assesses his kingdom, identifies enemies, builds a strategy, and when the moment comes, he reclaims. One of the most powerful moves the greatest warrior in Greek mythology makes is to become nothing first. I know that move, not from this book, but from my own life. Being, a high-level executive for decades, working from red carpets to traveling the world in 40-some countries and doing all of those things, I was stripped of that title. I was laid off. I was without a job. I lost the recognition. The divorce was on top of that. And so I was losing this identity as a dad and as a husband. The job was gone. The friends were gone. The support network was gone. And I was just a man who felt like a loser, who had no idea how to get anything back. Sure, I had the books and I've read all the things and the podcast, but I was like, how could this be happening to me? How did this happen? How did I miss this? How could I be this intelligent and this smart and miss these things? And the biggest thing I feared was not the failure. It was failure in front of people. It was public humiliation. What people would think, what people would say. Who is this guy? How could he have been doing all that stuff? And now look, he's got nothing. He's driving Lyft. He's scrapping for whatever he can to make money. And in those moments, guys, the realest I can give you and the stuff that I hear from you guys is, yes, I felt like an absolute loser. I felt like my life was over. I had to make a choice. I had to build my business when nobody was coming. I had to create content that nobody was watching. I had to speak when nobody was asking me to speak. I had to build what I saw in my heart, regardless of what anyone thought. That was my beggar season. And brothers, I'm telling you, that season built everything. And that season you may be in right now that you need to start doing something and doing something differently. I'll give you some data on this about Ryan Holiday has some great things on here, drawing from a lot of his Stoic philosophy. And I love, if you haven't read Ryan's books, he's got some great books. Obstacles is the Way. I reference that a lot. It's a great book. Ego is the Enemy, another good one. He says that the men who rebuild most powerfully after major failure are consistently the ones who are willing to start at the bottom without the protection of their former identity. Not the ones with the most resources, not the ones with the best connections, the ones who are willing to be nobody for long enough to become somebody real. The man and the men, guys, if you cannot enter the beggar season, who needs to be recognized, who need people to know what they're building for or whatever, those guys stall. They stay on an island. They eat the lotus. The builders enter the beggar season. They build in the dark. They create when nobody's watching. And when they emerge as something that was exactly what the version that they wanted. That's who they're becoming. So you have to ask yourself this: what would it cost you to stop needing people to see what you're building right now and just build it? Now, those of you guys that are a little bit further along and you are building, but you're scrambling, you're still getting distracted by the lotus flower. You need to wake up too, because some of you guys have resources, but you're not being resourceful with them. You're allowing them to become a crutch. You're allowing yourself to weigh on them. You're not getting accountable with your time. And you're looking at other people saying, well, I'm doing better than them, but you're not doing the best version of you. You're not scaling back in certain areas. You're not cutting out the lotus flower and the other crap that doesn't need to be there. You're not focused daily on the things you need to focus on. And what happens and what I see is that the lack of humility, the lack of what can I really be doing, the lack of having somebody come into your life and shoot you straight on those areas is ultimately what will stall you and your children. And I don't want to see that happen for you as well. But you have to wake up to that. You have to realize that that can become years, because some of you guys will maybe get some money back and maybe you get the house back and now you're starting to feel good, but you still have yet to go all in on your life and your future. And that is what transformation is for. That is what leadership is for. That's what your kids are looking for you in the season to do. So let me give you the last part here. What are you building this thing for? When you watch the story of the Odyssey, there is such a strong bond between the father and the son. There's such a strong bond between you dads and your children. What are you doing this for? Why does this matter? And that's the question I have to ask so many of you guys so much. The vacations, who cares? More money in your bank account, who cares? Why are you building this? Why does this matter? So the part of Odyssey that hit me, again, another hard part, the humility part really was eye-opening. But Odysseus' son was growing up without his dad. He spends years not knowing if his father's alive or dead. And in the absence, he has to become this man. He has to find his own courage, his own voice, his own way. When Odysseus finally does come home, disguised as this beggar, his son is one of the first to recognize him, even though he really didn't know him. And the reunion between a father and a son who's been waiting, that is everything. I have a son, his name's Roscoe, and everything I'm building is for him to stand on. I want my ceiling to become his floor. I don't want him to have an easier life. I want him to have a better blueprint, right? Every lesson I learn in this hero's journey, every lotus flower that I refuse, every beggar season I walk through, every time I choose humility over pride, I'm writing a manual. So when he faces his version of this in his own life, and he will, because that is life, he will not face it alone. He'll have a father who went through it, documented, came home, not as a victim, but a builder. And there's some data in the development psychology that I found that was very interesting. It says that a father's demonstrated resilience and recovery after major life adversity was one of the strongest predictors of his children's own resilience, identity, strength, and ability to navigate hardships as adults. Guys, if you want your children to succeed, if you want them to be resilient, which you do, if you want them to get through trials and learn to build, your moment is now to build that into your children, to make the hard decision, to get called out on your character. This is the moment of decision. Proverbs 13:22 says, a good man leaves an inheritance for his children's children. The inheritance is not just cash flow. It's this. It's the blueprint of a man who went through the fire and came home. It's a guy who ate the lotus and put it down, who entered the beggar season and he built in the dark. It's a guy who humbled himself so his son could stand on his shoulders. That is inheritance, my friend. That is why you don't quit. That is why the hero's journey is not optional. It is your assignment. And so as I land this plane, I'm going to land it with this, with builders and drifters. The difference between a builder and drifter here in the Odyssey: a drifter finds his island, his lotus flower, his bliss that feels like relief, but it's really just distance from home. And then he stays there. Weeks become months, and months become years, and his kids grow up without the version of their dad that was supposed to show up. a builder keeps moving. He takes the hits. He faces the monsters, the fear, the failure, the public humiliation, the beggar season when nobody sees what he's building, and he moves anyway. Not because it doesn't hurt. It hurts. Oh, boy, it hurts. Not because he isn't scared. Oh, he's scared. But because somewhere his son is waiting. Somewhere his daughter is waiting who needs their dad to come home. Not as the man he was, but as the man the journey built. You are Odysseus, my friend. You are. The man listening to this right now that I'm talking to, you're Odysseus. You are not lost. You are in the middle. And the middle is supposed to be hard. That's how you know you're on the right track. You're the right journey. Keep moving. Get home. And let's build. If this episode hits you, I want to do one thing. Name your lotus flower. Fellas, write it down. The thing that has been keeping you on the island. And then right next to it, what is it costing you? Not what it might cost you. What's it already taken? That is the number that moves you. Follow the show on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. Share this with the dad. If you're not in our school community, get in there. Start with a band of brothers. Do something with this information. Don't just, oh, wow, this is great. Oh, yeah, really motivating. Yeah, whatever. Do something. Get with a band of brothers. Those of you guys, high-level executives, business, you guys own a business, you want to look to apply to work one-on-one with me, apply. It's in the show notes. And do something you've never done before to get where you've never gone. I love you guys. I'll see you on the next one. God bless you.